What's up, you guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk about Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 5, episodes 4 and 5. So I want to apologize in advance if my voice sounds funny. I am fighting for my life right now, trying to get over this cold because I refuse to be sick on Christmas Day. Like, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I will be okay and in good health on Christmas Day. So I've been taking around the clock Theraflu and anything else I could put in this body that's going to knock this cold all the way out. So let's get into this review. So let's talk about the 3 things that stood out in episode 4. So you had the issues between Martina and Julia dealing with her empty nest syndrome. Then you had Nicole and the conversation with her mom about her dad. And then you have Lenny and his hot mic situation. So let's first start off with Julia. If I'm going to be all the way real and 100 with y'all, Julia got on my nerves. Julia got on my nerves in episode 4 and 5 when her daughter came, because I was like, girl, you be smothering people. And it's just like, get out of my space. And maybe that's just a me thing, because I don't really like when people are all over me. I'm kind of like a cat in the sense of like, you know, come, like when I want to be near you, let me be near you. But when I don't, back, leave me alone. Let me be free. And in this situation, I don't know. I felt bad for Martina. I know we were supposed to feel bad for Julia, but I felt bad for Martina, especially when they spoke about the whole like rooting situation where Julia was like, I feel like I'm not rooted. And Martina was like, you feel like, so Martina was like, so since the kids are not here, you don't feel rooted here? And Julia was like, yes. And she said it so like quickly. And I was like, I could tell that Martina was like, no, she didn't. Like, it gave her a pause. And I was on her side. And the reason why is because it's like Martina and Julia have been together for probably 15 or 12 plus years. So it's like, if you haven't found a way to root, like you two don't root each other down or keep each other rooted, then what was the point of y'all being together? Like, I feel like I get Julia being an empty nester, but like, what the hell did you think was going to happen with your kids? Did you think they were just going to stay at home with you all the time? And then when she was breaking down at Lisa's party where she was like, everybody I love leaves, your kids are supposed to leave and have wonderful lives as a testament of how you raised them. Like, it's not like your kids are out here cracked out. Like, you have one daughter that's going to college in Virginia, probably doing really well for herself. And then you had another child who's 16 years old, who had enough confidence to uproot herself and go live with her father and do school in another country that she probably doesn't, I won't say she doesn't know the language, but she might not be as fluent in it. That takes courage and confidence. So it's like, it's not like Julia raised a bunch of bums. Like, you have kids that you done well by. Like, that is, your kids thriving and actually surviving and doing well is a testament of how well of a parent you are. Well, because some people had to parent themselves. But that is what that is. And Julia got on my nerves. She got on my nerves because I was like, girl, this is why on mom TikTok and on like IG TikTok for moms, that these women stress so much about having endeavors outside of your children, because the goal is for them to leave. Like, the goal is not for them to stay and you coddle them and you smother them. The goal is for you to allow them to spread their wings. And my thing is, like, let's say the youngest daughter didn't go to Paris, and as well as the oldest daughter, let's say she went to school in Miami. That's not a guarantee that she was going to be home every weekend coming to hang out with you. Where I went to school during undergrad, there's a lot of kids who lived in, like, whose family lived in the same state, who were probably like an hour or 2 hours or maybe an hour and 30-minute drive away from them. And they did not go home. They did not go home. They only went home when it was time for holidays, and if they just wanted to go home because there was like a special event at the house. Other than that, they didn't go home on the weekends like that. They stayed in their dorms and kicked it with everybody else on the yard. So it's like, even if Julia's kids were to stay and go to college in Miami, that's not a guarantee that they would be at home with her. And I just feel like this is why you as a parent have to have things outside of your children that fulfill you, because you can't put all of that on one person. Like, a relationship shouldn't fulfill you. Like, you should be able to fulfill yourself, because there's no guarantee that that stuff is always going to be around. Like, life is too unpredictable for you to put all your eggs in one basket, or all your stock in one basket. So then the situation with Nicole and her dad, we see that Nicole and her mom and the baby, I think his name is Grayson. Is it Grayson or Garrison? No, it's Grayson. It's Grayson. It's not like Gary. They're deciding to have like a little picnic. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, I was actually surprised how much I kind of agreed with the father. I was like, oh my God, ew. And the reason why is because it was funny, because the talking points I feel like he was using were like Gen Z and millennial talking points, where it's like, I only care about my happiness. We say that all the time. Like, we got to call a spade a spade. A lot of us say that all the time. You get on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, even Snapchat and all of that, everybody says that. Even on Facebook, everyone's always like, my happiness is the only thing I care about. And when the dad says that, I giggled. My thing with Nicole is, I do feel as though Nicole is warranted to have these feelings of resentment, to mourn the relationship that she thought she was going to have with her father. Because, you know, you have expectations when you're a little kid about your parents. So I don't fault her for that. But my issue with Nicole is, you can't be wanting a relationship with him, and then when he kind of like tries to give you that, you don't like the way it's being presented to you. And in this moment, it did very much seem like Nicole and her dad do mirror each other, because you got Nicole digging her feet in, saying, I don't want my dad's girlfriend around, even though he been with the lady for 3 years. Like, I could understand if he only knew the woman for like 3 months, or like, hell, I'll even give you a year, but he's been with her for 3 years. 3 years. And if she's not the cause of the reason why your parents got a divorce, then you should allow her to be like around, especially if he's telling you like, this person cares, I care a lot about this person, so I want her around. Like, I know for a fact, if Nicole's dad were to be like, I don't want Anthony around, she would not be around. So she's digging her feet into that. Then they do a flashback, and we see that Anthony's like, yeah, your dad has reached out to you. You don't pick up the phone. So Nicole wants to be chased, but Nicole is someone in her 30s, where it's like, ma'am, you're an adult. And although it would be definitely nice to have a father that is begging and running after a relationship with you, because that's probably what you want him to do to show that he cares about you, he a grown man that has already told you that if someone's not bringing me happiness, I'm going to pull back. And it does seem like you have some onus in this relationship not progressing. It's like you speak very negatively about him, but yet you want a relationship with him. That doesn't make sense to me. Nicole ends up calling her dad like a selfish asshole of an idiot or something like that. And I'm like, if you feel that way about the man, why you want him in your child's life or your man's life? You know, chuck the deuces on him and move on. But it's like, no, you want your dad to be around, but you only want it in the way. You only want it in your way, and it's not gonna work like that. Like, after watching so many episodes of Iyanla and seeing so many children who are adults, who are like in their 30s, 40s, and even like 20s, break down to their parents, and Iyanla having to explain to them, you might never get what you want from them. Like, you have to accept that you might never get what you want from them, especially if you want this relationship to progress. And I think that's what Nicole has to do. She has to accept her father for who he is. And if you want him to be a part of your life, then you allow him to be a part of your life. But if you don't want him to be a part of your life, then move on. You got to move on, sis. And you have to accept the fact that you tried and it just didn't work out. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That is. It's a hard pill to swallow, to know that you tried at something and you probably gave it your all and it don't work out. And you feel defeated. You feel like a loser. And it's just like, why? And those are hard questions that sometimes don't even give you the answer until you get old and decrepit. So, yeah. So on to Lisa and Lenny's good vibes party. We find out that unfortunately, Jax had to be, put down, mainly to transition because of his degenerative disease where he was losing control of his back legs and his muscles. And it's sad. It's sad. I feel like people don't be understanding that certain breeds have so many ailments. So many. Like, I've learned, especially through school, that the bigger the animal is, the more issues it has. But it was sad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it made me remember, like, my childhood dog, Sassy. She was a bad bitch, min pin. And you never understand how important animals are to your family until they're gone. Like, you get so used to them being there that you don't realize, like, oh crap, like, they're not going to live as long as a person. Like, I'll never forget, I had like a horrible day in high school one day, and I remember sitting in my room, just sitting down, and I was just like frustrated, like I was agitated to the max. And she just walked in my room, sat between my legs, licked my thigh, and looked at me and started crying. But I didn't know I need that. And it's sad. I felt so bad for them, even for Lenny and his ass. I felt bad for them. So they end up having like a good vibes party, and everybody's invited. The only thing that like stood out to me legit was the hot mic moment. So you got Lisa still being cringy, and like it was very cringy. It was so cringy. Like, she's trying to take pictures with him outside. She's like, wrap your arms around me like you love me, because you do love me. And she kisses him, and he doesn't even really kiss her back. She's like trying to like spark up like small talk with him. And you could tell that Lenny is like very disinterested in it. And I just felt bad. We then see this guy named Vito, which is like Lenny's friend who shows up to the party. And in the house, you see Logan and Vito and Lenny. And Logan's like playing like, I think, Black Ops or some like Call of Duty or something like that. And they're trying to Vito and Lenny are trying to make sure Logan doesn't hear their conversation. But I don't think he heard it. I think, well, you don't know, kids are smart. So he might have heard it, but it doesn't seem like he heard it. But he probably could have. But you see them in the kitchen, and Vito's like, oh, I'm sorry. They start talking about Jax dying, and he's like, I'm sorry, buddy. And then Vito says, I'm officially single. And then Lenny comes back, and he says, in a couple of months, I might be single too. And then Vito says, I heard there was like some issues, but nothing specific. Basically saying that like the streets have been talking, and it's been kind of like, ooh, something's going on between Lenny and Lisa's relationship. And Lenny's like, yeah, some stuff. Stuff has always been, I don't do anything. I do anything I want whenever I want, and you stay home. Basically saying that Lenny gets to do whatever he wants while Lisa stays home with the kids. While this is all going on, you see Lisa outside taking pictures with her friends, and Vito's like, have you guys like discussed like your issues a lot? And Lenny's like, no, we don't really like discuss them. And Lenny's like, because then I would not the no, they don't discuss them. Like, they do talk about their issues, but Lenny then, like, Vito then's like, are you guys, like, having sex? And this is what really kind of, like, I was like, damn, girl, is when Lenny said no, because then I would be cheating on who I really care about. And then the guy's like, does anybody know? And Lenny's like, nobody knows, like, nobody. And he's like, Vito's like, oh, my God. Vito's like, you're mic'd, are you? Vito's like, are you mic'd? And he's like, yeah, why do you think I'm whispering? And I'm like, sis, we're still gonna hear it. What did you think? You can whisper all you want, but if you got a mic on, I can still hear you. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I felt so bad. I felt bad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, when he said no, then that means I be cheating on the person that I really care about. I was like, girl, it's time to get a divorce. It is time to get a divorce, because this man has moved on, and now he's having like an emotional affair with this girl because now he really cares about her. My God, today. But let's move on to the next episode. So, episode 5 really didn't have a lot going on, in my opinion, other than what happened at the end. We saw Larsa go on a date. We saw a important conversation that Lisa had with Logan about the death of Jax. And then we saw Gertie and Alexia have a conversation on Nicole's boat about their friendship. So first I'll talk about Lisa and Jax. I thought it was a nice moment, but I also felt like Lenny should have been there. You was over there sobbing about this dog. You could have taken time out of your busy schedule, because I'm not going to sit here and act like a surgeon isn't busy, but you make time for the things you want to make time for. And that conversation should have been a conversation. And like his voicemail says who he is, the world renowned. And it's like, Lenny, we don't know who the hell you are. It's not like you Dr. Miami. Like, everybody knows who he is based off of Instagram and IG, but we don't know who the hell Lenny is. But I just felt like in this moment, he should have been there for his son and Lisa. I did think it was crazy how Logan understood, but he understood in his own way. And oftentimes I forget that kids, they understand things, but they just don't understand it the way we understand it. Like when he laid his head on the ashes and was just like he wanted to sit with them, and then when they put him in his room and he was like right there, I thought that was sweet. And I just feel like Lenny should have been there. Like he just should have. So Larsa going on this date. The only reason why I'm talking about Larsa's date, because ain't much happened other than they made sushi, is like I did not like Larsa's outfit. I don't understand why Larsa has on this Terry Mugler bodysuit. She looked good, by the way, but the issue is Larsa constantly talks about how guys only want one thing from her, or, you know, she doesn't want to date athletes. She wants a certain type of man of a certain type of caliber. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but if you lead with one thing, that is what people perceive. Larsa leads with her body. Just like men who complain about like women only want me for my money, but they lead with their money. It's like, if you're leading with that, of course that's what the people are going to be into. They're not going to really try to get to know you or get to know you beyond what you're leading with first. I don't understand why she had that outfit on for a first date. And it's also like Larsa contradicts herself so much, because she talks about how she doesn't want to be with any athletes, but yet when we go onto the blogs, she's dating athletes. We've seen you out with MJ's son, or you were dating that one guy who was an athlete. So it's like, Larsa, shut up. If you want to date athletes, date athletes. You are their preference. Might as well go for it. If you don't, you don't. But stop this whole like, I want a different type of guy, because clearly you don't with the way in which you present yourself out to the masses. That's just what it is. We then see Gertie, I think it was Gertie, Alexia, Adriana, Julia, and Nicole go on Nicole's boat. It was a nice boat. The captain was fine. He was a fine looking man with his little beard. And they talk about Lisa and Lenny on the boat. We have a moment where Gertie and Alexia talk about their friendship, where Gertie's like, I felt like maybe you didn't really like me, that you only saw me as a service worker. And Alexia's like, no, I like you. But Alexia comes off as a mean girl in this situation where it's like she wants someone to fight for her friendship, and that's what Gertie is doing and giving to her. So it is what it is. But they talk about Lenny and Lisa and the parties that they like to throw. What we find out is that Lenny has these parties to scout new prospects that's going to replace Lisa. A lot of the women that are at the parties are like in their 20s, or like their mid 20s or early 20s, or even their early 30s. They're half the age of Lisa. And they always walking around half naked, and that's just what it is. Alexia says it's a lot that be going on at them parties. But we basically find out that's what happened, that the girl that Lenny has been running around town with is actually somebody who used to frequent their parties that they used to have at their house. So everyone is getting ready to go to the Keys for Alexia's birthday. We see that Alexia, Nicole, Gertie, and Adriana are flying. Anthony's going to fly them there. It's only supposed to be like a 15-minute trip. Larsa, Kiki, and Marisol are driving down. They end up waiting 2 hours for Lisa. They're better than me because I would have told them to pack it up. I'd have told them to get us off this mat, and if Lisa really want to be there, she can drive down, because that's mad disrespectful. I understand she is going through all of that she's going through, but that doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful to other people, because time is one thing that you can't get back. And I understood Anthony's frustrations, because it's like this was probably only supposed to be like maybe him being out the office for like an hour, maybe an hour and 30 minutes, because it's 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back for the flight. He probably got to park the plane, make sure, like, they clean up and all that stuff, and then drive to work, depending on how close the work his job is to the airport. So I'm just like, yeah, when he was mad, I was with it. I would have left Lisa. Like, I would have been like, I don't really care what you got going, especially when everyone's trying to get in contact with Lisa and she's not responding. I would have left her ass. I would have left her. So they get to the hotel or the resort. It's actually really pretty. Like, the beach was very beautiful. The pool area, the rooms were nice. I was like, oh, this is cute. So they're all sitting down. Everyone's putting on their swimsuits so they can go lounge by the pool. We see Lisa in her room, and we find out that the nanny that's there is not feeling well, and she's basically like, I have to go home. And so Lisa's like, well, you can't just leave my kids. They're like 2 and 6. Like, you just can't leave them at the house. So she calls Lenny. Lenny basically feels like he's being bothered and was like, Lisa, work on finding somebody. I really have a tennis match to go to. And I was like, F your tennis match, bro. Like, your kids are at home by themselves. Go home, be a father, and watch your kids. Like, what in the hell? You are pushing so hard for these children and you don't even want to take care of them. I was so disgusted, and I felt bad for Lisa, but I was like, Lisa, cuss him out. Like, the way I'd have cussed that man out so quick, like, I'd have made him feel so small on that phone. He would have hung up on me, because I'd have called him everything but a child of God. And then some. Because the fact that he was like, Lisa, I really want to go to my tennis match, but I'll cancel it to take care of my kids. Yes, stupid, cancel the tennis match to go take care of your kids, dummy. Oh, dumbass. Ugh. So then we see everybody get to the pool, and they're all sitting down, minus Juliana. They taking forever. So everyone gets to the pool. Y'all, I hope Marisol don't got a drinking problem, but sis, we should not be seeing you with a drink every 2 minutes. I'm going to need you to be drinking water, juice, or, a refreshing cola. Because slow down, sis. Slow down. So they're all by the pool. Marisol is getting, like, everybody drinks, ordering for them. And they all are like, Lisa, what's going on, sis? What's going on? And Lisa basically tells them, Lenny got a girlfriend. Everyone's shook. Like, what? Like, because everyone's trying to give encouraging words like, sis, like, if you want your marriage to work, you're going to have to work for it. And she was like, I don't think it's coming back. And everyone's like, what do you mean you don't think it's coming back? Like, no, like, y'all been, and Larson's like, I've been married for 21 years. Like, you can work through it. And she was like, no, I don't think we can. My marriage is over. And then Alexia's like, is there somebody else? And Lisa's like, yes. And Alexia's like, oh, I knew it. And Alexia's like, what do you mean? Like, everyone's freaking out. Honestly, I'm surprised Marisol didn't know what was going on, because on the episode 4, Marisol is the one that knew that the doctor that Adriana is dating has a family. So it's like Marisol be knowing everybody tea. So I was like surprised she ain't know this tea. So Marisol is shook. Like, everyone is like, eyes are big as hell. Everyone's like, oh my God. Alexia's like, is he still at your house? And she's like, yeah. He basically told me I have to take my kids and find some place. Marisol said something like that I agree with. Your kids, he was like, his kids. And I'm like, yeah, they're his kids, but he treating them like they're only Lisa's kids. And Lisa just breaking down. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. You got Juliana still at the bar eating sushi and drinking like there's something going on over there. And I'm like, girl, me being nosy, I'd have got up and been like, what's going on? And it's just like, everyone's just like, oh my gosh. Like, I think it just shook everybody that she came out. Lisa came right out and said, like, no, he's cheating. And Alexia was ready to fight. Alexia was like, oh, no. And he's still in your house. He's still in your house. I said, yeah, girl, he's still in your house. It was a mess. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully she can bounce back from this. I see she out here dating somebody, or I won't say dating, been seen with this like tech mogul, but Lisa need to slow down. Like, you probably need to deal with this, because this divorce, like I said on my last episode, like if you go on page 6, it's getting messy, article after article after article, and this looks like it's gonna be a long bitter divorce. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.